I do believe we are live. So I'll say indeed and greetings unto ye. Hello. Hello. Holy. My brain straight up melted for a second there. Indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. I saw Pippi try to play with Kitty, and Kitty give Pippi the and I thought to myself, my brain feels scattered already. Today's stream topic is going to be one of those that could potentially cause a certain level of tension within the self as you consider what it is I want to delve into today. Some of you friends might have already read the stream topic, so you know what it's about. But today's stream topic is going to be about being God. Yeah, it's a little bit much. Specifically, being God to a frog. There is this circumstance that keeps arising in my room where little frogger dudes find themselves into my room because my door opens up to the outside, and then they try to find their way out of my room, and then they find their way into my bathroom, and then in the furthest corner from where they came in, there's this small little dustbin that has one of those revolving doors. And then they somehow manage to jump into that little dustbin every single time. I don't know, maybe not every single time, but this has happened multiple times over. And then I'll hear this like frog body slapping against plastic sound. Yes, enter sound here. And then I get up and I go and fetch that little frog out of the dustbin and I save it, all right? And today specifically, like saving a little frog again, I had this thought of what it means to be God to something, right? That we as human beings have this idea of what God is specifically. And I was thinking to myself that if I was a little frog and I somehow found myself in an unfortunate position to be semi-locked in a box. Let me see if I can get this to go wider. That punch in more? I don't know. If I was, this little frog and I put myself in this position, what would I do, right? Is there a narrative? Because one day, upon saving a frog, I did, but I also saw a completely dry frog in the same dustbin. And I was just thinking to myself, what an absolute horror show that must have been for this little frog. Like imagine you fall into a hole, right? Now this hole is closed above you because that's the way it was designed. And then you're trying to get out, but it's impossible because it's closed above you. And you literally see a dry version of yourself in that hole with you. That would scare the shit out of me. That scares the shit out of me for that little frog even. And I was thinking to myself, goodness, if I was that frog, I'd probably pray. I'd probably be begging the universe to save me. And then me, an ordinary human being, comes, right? Actually does save this little being, takes him out of this hole, and sets him free again, right? And sure, today's stream topic is a little bit on the nose with this fractal of you can be God to a frog. But the way that I would like us to consider it is not necessarily the actual God complex of the situation, but the responsibility that you have as that God in that situation, right? That if you don't feed your puppies, if you don't fill their water bowls, if you don't, take care of them, they die, right? You are literally responsible for their lives. You have to keep them alive lest they die. And to see yourself and this whole that you're a part of as exactly that. There is no separation between what you think of as God and you, right? Because if you were separate, you would cease to be. Because then there would be somewhere that God is, and then somewhere that you are. And apparently those are mutually exclusive, right? Which they can't be. At least in my mind, they cannot be. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say take responsibility, right? That yes, it might sound a little bit much to consider yourself as God in this world, right? We have so much evidence that we're not. We have so much evidence that we're capable of, hurting ourselves, hurting others, doing things that don't serve us, that it's difficult for us to kind of come to that conclusion. But instead of keeping the conclusion and then believing that you're somehow better, I'll put some pen away on this, better because of it, take that conclusion and realize that you have a responsibility to save the world. You will save the world because there is no savior coming unless it's you that save us, right? And that you is kind of like overarching all of us, right? We have to save ourselves as the collective humanity. Otherwise, we're not going to be saved. I see a Shannon, a Nana, a Lois, a Anna, a Doug, Dad. Who told you I am the frog god? Me. Me told myself that you are the frog god. As you, who is me, who is myself, telling myself as you right now. What? must be a fractal that we share as well, Brother Doug Dad. Anyone else have a 3:30 wake-up call and a tiny human giant puking on the bed? Ah, that sounds exciting. It wasn't boring, was it? Oh, now there's puke in my bed. How exciting. I am excited because now I'm standing up and I'm breathing heavily and I'm trying to figure something out. Fan me. How do I do that? Why would I do that? Maybe that's the right question to ask. Corridero, tell me, friend. Let me see. I see Connor. I was thinking about you whole yesterday, dude. Like yesterday's stream topic was very much inspired by you. Like you put me into like a certain mental space and I was sending you good vibes. So it's nice having you today. I've been thinking about you, bro, like a lot. In that mindset. You know what? I'm gonna write Frog God on this. I'm gonna write Frog God. Yes, Frog God. Some of you friends might have watched Naruto. I unfortunately didn't. I know there's a frog god. I think it's a frog god. Hey Google, is there a frog god in Naruto? Yeah. Gamabunta makes an appearance at the end of Naruto, in episode 9. Omake by squashing Naruto, and Sake when Naruto summoned him. Bamaruta's size is depicted inconsistently throughout the series, of course. Anime and scale, am I right? We'll do abundance. We'll do godlikeness. We'll do protection. And we'll do Isa as well, the self. Yeah. Got some runes going. Let me see. Connor, I always knew you were part frog. Oh, hail the frog god. Oh man, that's rough. I have to save dozens of these little squishy morons from the basement window wells from one of my customers. You see, you were a frog god, dude. You have saved so many little lives. And I would like to believe that they remember. They probably don't, but I would like to believe they do. Right? I would like to believe they think to themselves, damn, human beings don't all suck. How about that? That gives me a hope. That gives me some inkling of hope. Shan, it's fine. Nothing seems to be wrong. She went back to bed in my bed while I cleaned her in her mom's bed. Oh, that sounds like you were a good dad, if anything. Like you were the God in that situation, right? This is what's beautiful to me about this way of thinking, is being God in this capacity doesn't make things easier. In fact, I believe it makes things harder because you know just how much responsibility you have to take, even for cleaning puke. cleaning actual puke off of linen. Oh goodness, that sounds like a nightmare. And yet, if you don't see yourself as the savior in that moment, then you'll just leave it. Be like, nah, that's not my problem. Someone else can fix that problem. But someone else is also going to be God, all right? So you might as well. I've shared this fractal with you friends before, but I feel it's a good time to share it again. One of my favorite koans that goes, a monk wakes up one day, specifically on the day that he knows it's his turn to be mopping the temple floors. And he decides, you know what? Enlightenment is way more important than mopping temple floors. So I'm going to gain enlightenment instead of mopping temple floors today. So he sits down and he starts his meditative journey. Ooh, this is not really a ladybug, but it looks like one. And he starts his meditative journey and he goes through this process of, diving deep, and he reaches his enlightenment. And he's so excited about it that he jumps up, proclaiming, I am God, I am God, I am God. And he runs around and he tells every single one of the monks he sees as he's running to the food hall. It's nighttime. The day is over. And he runs in and he sees all of his monk friends sitting down and eating. And he proclaims, my friends, I have remembered, I have realized, I am God. And they look up from their meals and they go, congratulations, it took you long enough. Now mop the floor. Yeah. My favorite koan, because I believe that's the way it should be seen, right? This understanding of what God is when it comes to us as human beings, when it comes to us as these storytellers, isn't something that puts us in a position of power above anyone else. It very much is the ultimate equalizer, right? If everything is God, sure, you can say nothing is. But if everything is God, treat everything as such, right? So frog God, and we'll do love on this side. Love the frog God. That sometimes we'll have to clean puke. We'll have to mop the floors, right? And that doesn't take away from our divinity. In fact, if you can do that and you can realize that you're doing it as a sign of love, I believe you gain even more power in doing so. So yeah, embrace your power, friends. Shanners and Tunes and Duck and Loazana and Melt and more. I love you all. Thank you for the good vibes sent yesterday. We think Guyana is coming home today. How about that? How about that? Yesterday, Guyana is in the hospital with double pneumonia. And literally 24 hours later, Loazana is better and she's probably coming home today. Yeah, magic is real. Sure, she had help. She had the hospital taking care of her, making sure she stays fine. But in the same way, the people in those hospitals were, as you and me, angels, consciousnesses, ensuring her survival. Right? And if we weren't mindfully taking care of one another, being each other's saviors, then nothing and no one would have been saved at this point. We love you, Jovan. Send Guyana our love as well. Joy Beef, there she is, sending you lovin's. That's how it be sometimes, Doug. Oh yeah, exciting is the best word to describe it. Yes, I'm so excited. Connor, I hope you're doing well, dude. We're sending you love. Raven has been my best friend the last 24 hours. Raven, I'm guessing it's the oil you're talking about. I added some Panaway to my foot twice today. My foot seems to be throwing a tantrum again. But I'm more okay with it these days than I've ever been. Like, I'm still these days exercising even though it's hurting. I go for walks and it's like, this sucks. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I know, you said that. I'm still gonna enjoy my walk. Look at those pretty clouds. No? Shh, shh, shh. Pretty clouds here right now. I'm gonna look at the pretty clouds. Oh, Raven, been going out and having fun, trying to enjoy myself. Sounds like a nice time. Mel, I thought frogs remember too, but then I know I have caught the same frog in the same pit in the same day. Yeah, maybe maybe we're what anthropomorphizing them too much. I'm sure they gain a little bit calm at least, when they see us. Because, and I've noticed this. This is why I would like to believe that they remember. Some frogs literally piss themselves when I pick them up to try and save them. They like lose their minds. And then depending on how I pick them up or how the fractal kind of played out before I actually got them in my hands changes the experience that I get to have of these little frogs. And sometimes me picking them up, they're like, well, guess this is how it is right now. They accept and they just chill in my hands. And then sometimes they're like peeing everywhere and stuff. And then they pee on my hands and I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to help you. Oh, stop peeing on me, dude. Stop it. Oh, Connor, isn't it wild how being comfortable with being alone with oneself can be such a struggle? It always is. It always is, and yet it is something you can get better at. In fact, I believe getting good at being alone with yourself is a skill I really value in myself. And it's almost like something that I've been leaning into more these days. It started with the no more cell phones in the bathroom thing. Like I like to answer messages, especially when I sit in the bathroom, because I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to sit down. Might as well reply to messages. And then if I've replied to messages, I might as well scroll Reddit. And since I stopped doing that, I've not needed to hold on to my cell phone quite as much. I think I'll find balance as I gulp down copious amounts of coffee. I'll find balance. I will find balance. Balance is something that is maintained throughout your lifetime, not something that is reached in any specific moment, right? I'd like to believe, at least. In other words, you're not ever gonna just have balance perfectly. You are going to keep living, and then you're going to do things with different polarity. And because of that difference in polarity, they'll cancel each other out or balance each other out. And you will have balance ultimately, right? Sometimes you stay up late. Sometimes you sleep early enough. Hopefully, over the grand scheme of things, we'll find balance within those. One time driving home, slowed down to dodge a giant hoppy frog in the road. Just as I almost passed by it, a giant owl cut me off, snagging it off the road. Still not sure where I emotionally stand. There's two quiffles kind of laughing at the comical nature of that story. So, this is the way I feel about it, and I noticed this on a mushroom trip with Johan, Christian, and Francois. Is his name? No, fuck. He doesn't talk to me anymore. So I guess I've used the space his name used to live in for something else. Joshua? This hurts my heart. But this friend. And we were at the copy, and we all took like a little bit of mushrooms, and we were like in it. Like the mushrooms were working. Like we were aware that they were working. And then suddenly I see out of the corner of my eye a snake dropping from the roof onto the floor. And I can hear it drop on the floor. And as it was falling, I could see that it had green speckles, right? And there's only a few snakes, at least on our farm, that has green speckles. And the snake that primarily has that kind of coloration is a snake called a gespikkelde bosslang. And I proclaim, with nie worry nie, dis net 'n gespikkelde bosslang. Don't worry, it's just a speckled bush snake, which probably now in hindsight doesn't generate any calm for my friends. They're like, oh, good, only a speckled bush snake or whatever. And I'm like, it's not poisonous. And I'm still kind of skittish because I'm not just gonna lunge to see what snake it is. And I come around the corner and I see this snake. And I think I still have the video actually. I see this snake biting over a lizard's face, holding onto the top of his face, the lizard's bottom jaw biting onto the snake's bottom jaw, and them being like in a stalemate like that, right? But the snake's primary food source are lizards. And I'm tripping on mushrooms. And I'm just standing there. And we were morbidly kind of joking, you know, I probably shouldn't share this, but we were morbidly joking how that lizard probably wants us to save its life, right? Like if it could say anything, it would be screaming for us to save its life right now. And I was like, I would love to, dear little friend, but if I save your life, I would be taking in part the life of that snake, right? So there is no winning. So I feel I'm happy that you swerved and missed the frog, right? Because then it would have been, and that's the weird thing about food in this world as well. It would still have been eaten, right? Microorganisms, worms, maybe ants would have still eaten that frog. But now an owl got to. The cycle of life. Yeah. That situation, that experience of the lizard and the snake changed completely the way I see nature. Like that was too real. That was like the realest real I've ever seen in my life. I was like, oh goodness. I'm so sorry, little dude. For sure, Duck, sometimes I get tired of thinking or stressing. Yeah, I get you. I collect frog stuff. I like little frog things all over the house. How about that, Joy Vive? More synchronicity. The French eat frogs. I've eaten frogs. I ate maybe 4 frogs while I lived in China. They really like frogs in China as well. Hey, Luke. Luke McMurray. Which Luke are you? Have you been here before, dear friend? It's nice having you. My brother has his best friend. His name is Luke. And unfortunately, you're attached to that fractal right now. I know not all Lukes are the same Luke, but you might be. And if you're not, then I know 2 Lukes now, which is great. Sending you love, dear friend. It's nice having you here. I know, and I love this story. It's great. Joe, you allowed nature to take its course. Jovi, really? Duckling loves frogs. We have a tradition where Mrs. and I make her a cake of her choosing for birthday. Last year was a frog. That's so nice. Keep doing that, please. Like making cakes for your kids is something that in my memories is one of the most significant things that my parents ever did for me. I would highly recommend. Wait, who had double pneumonia? Holy cow. Our beloved Kayana Fran. It still is Giovan's best friend, personal friend. Joe, I wouldn't know how to feel about that either. Yeah, conflicted, right? Tell yourself the owl was just helping it off the road. Yeah, I was just helping it. Mom's back, I think. The sun is firing my razors right now. It's kind of hot. Yeah, but not in a while. I'm from Los Alamos. Never mind. I am your father. You're my dad? Intriguing title there. Greetings, everyone. Naren, it's nice having you, friend. I'm happy to see you. The stream topic originated, and I'll share the story again, from this experience I had with frogs going into my room and then finding themselves trapped inside of my dustbin, which is in the corner of my bathroom. So it goes bathroom, room, and my door is like next to the garage to the outside world. And it's very easy for them to get underneath my door or into my door. And then they get themselves stuck in that little dustbin. And then they jump and they jump and they jump and they can't get out. And if I don't save them, they die. And I was thinking to myself today that if these little frogs were praying for a savior, right, I would be the thing that comes and saves them. And I was extrapolating that as an understanding, this realization that in that moment, I needed to be that little frog savior. Like there was no one else who was going to save that frog. I had to be the God that that frog was potentially praying to, if frogs pray, right? And then attaching that understanding to everything. That every single one of us are responsible for the world around us. That you have to be God if you want to see God in this world, right? So with that in mind, I wrote Frog, God, and Love on this joint. We'll smoke with that in mind. Rambler, hello, Melty, Joy, Vive, and Shannon, Duck, Dad, and Louisiana, and Sam, and anyone else out there that I missed. Hope everyone is doing well and drinking lots of water. Please do keep yourself hydrated. It's nice having you here, Brother Rambler. Sending you so much loves. Hallo mama. Malaki akot? Yo, rustig. Mom said hi to me. That's nice. If I didn't have a phone in the bathroom, I would never see you people. I know, Duck Dad. I know, that's the way it's for me too these days, bro. It's hard. Hey, Andrew. I don't know how many of your friends are here. Would love you too. Thank you for joining me. If you want a little bit of a better frame, I'm streaming on YouTube as well. Same username. Joe, that is one heck of an ordeal. I wish you both health and calm. Thank you. It was Kay Frana. She had tonsils and adenoids and a lymph node removed, and then was immediately hit with double pneumonia. Rough weekend, but she finally improved yesterday. Yo, the word that's coming to my mind is miracle. It's a miracle. Hey Google, define the word miracle. Miracle, an extraordinary and welcome event that is not explicable by natural or scientific laws and is therefore attributed to a divine agency. Maybe miracle is a little bit of a stretch. Well, I think every single one of you are divine agencies. So maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe the actual fact of our existence is a miracle, right? An extraordinary and welcome event existing that is not explicable by natural or scientific laws. Technically, our existence can be explicable by natural and scientific laws, but not our consciousness. They still can do that shit. They're trying. They've tried for a long time. But we still cannot pinpoint where consciousness is, right? Because it isn't residing here in this world, I believe. It pierces through you as a eye, the one that sees. Therefore attributed to a divine agency. Yeah. All of us are the miracles. Thank you again for letting us know that she's feeling a little bit better. Sam, I love that narrative. Hey, Zano, tell yourself the owl was helping. Yeah, me too. Helping the frog off the road. Oh, goodness. I'm just imagining it from this like parent and kid perspective of a kid, you know, kind of like tugging at mom's arm. And this is like me imagining Joy Vive's inner child tugging at her adult self's arm, missing the frog with her car. The kid feeling like, oh, good, we saved the little frog's life. And then in the back, you know, little mirror, you see an owl snatch the frog up. And the child wants to lose his mind. And then the adult has to be like, oh, no, don't worry about that. The Owl was just helping the frog. Was just helping the frog out of the way, of course. It was just so being so nice, being so kind. Oh, goodness. I hope those little baby owlets are doing well. The owl savior. Thank you, Duck. It was scary for a while, but she's a trooper and lots of angels looking out. Thank you. I want to honor you, Jovan. Like, you chose out of anything that you could have done to bring Kayana into this space, right? For all of us to kind of like take a moment to imagine her healthy. And that's the thing, like we were stressing that, right? If we were all just going to like imagine Kayana being sick, then I honestly believe that she wouldn't have gotten better. But the fact that we specifically stressed, we want to see Kayana healthy, right? That her being sick doesn't matter. We can still see her in the future, healthy, present, capable of, sharing a smile, having a conversation. And that's how it is. That's how it shall be. Thank you again, Jovan. Warms my heart that our energies reached her yesterday, right? The French eat frogs. Yeah, frog legs are pretty good. Tastes like chicken, really does. It's actually, it tastes like chicken that is the texture of fish. That's the best way that I can describe what frog tastes like. Ooh, look, McMurray, yummy, little little thick legs. I want to try. Apparently, they taste like chicken. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. And it is an efficient protein source when it comes to how much you have to feed them, right? If that matters to you. You have to get past the fact that it's a frog, though. But if you can get past the fact that you eat chickens and cows and pigs and stuff like that, then it's not that far of a stretch. Join us over on the YouTube. Thank you. Candy Bear, seeing you now. And Fodare, interesting username. Sending you love to friend. Oh, maybe Luke McMurray is some of the friends that came from you now, as I was asking. Wouldn't be surprised. Intriguing title. I had frog. I had frog 2 times. Oh, eating it. The time they fried them nice and crispy was awesome. Also, my preferred when they fry them. The rubbery time, not so great when they boil them. Yeah, same. You're right, I spelled it wrong. It's okay. What did you spell wrong? I'm curious. Owl gonna eat. You gotta eat too, Joe. If you would have crushed the frog, the owl would have not gotten a meal. Nature is metal. Or, like, I'm thinking about the frog's babies. Right? I'm thinking about not frog babies, owl babies. My phone is getting blasted by the sun. So I'm gonna move it out of the way a little bit. Yeah, so I can get blasted by the sun instead. Sacrifices. Why do I gotta sacrifice? Actually, I'll just be like 10% smarter. Oh goodness, I'm starting to use my brain cells. No, stop me. Oh, stop. It hurts. My brain cells is making me do things. No, stop it. So many things that I have to move now. Oh. I actually brought Joy Vive's palm stone with me today. There's a bunch of ants trying to drink the remainder of my coffee. I wonder what their little sense organs are telling them about what they're smelling. There we go. Not getting fire on my razor anymore. And yet still streaming. What's happening right now? Spelled it wrong. Owls. The schmeckt you guys. Sofa, sending you love. Thank you for joining us, friend. It was metal. The owl was big and beautiful, of course. A wild sofa has appeared. Joe, it's the same feeling I have about the red fox and the great horned owl that killed my ducks. Beautiful creatures. Opportunists. right? They'll do what they need to do to survive, including eat your ducks, especially eat your ducks. They'll eat your ducks gladly. They'll be like, "This is great. Why haven't we been doing this whole time? Catch our own food." They have like ducks and stuff just around the corner. I had really tried to apply anthropomorphized logic to animals in that way when I can. Even though it's probably wrong, it still feels kind of right. I can totally see that might be a metaphor too. Thanks for sharing the context, Mal. Thank you, dear friend, for asking, for being here in this moment for me to share that fractal with you. That is what it's about, right? Sharing. Oh goodness, and we share a lot as human beings. I feel we have learned how to share in a way that probably transcends the normal human experience. That sharing like this doesn't necessarily qualify as normal, is it? But I also know that we don't exactly care. Who wants to be normal anyway? I didn't sign up to be normal. Like, there's so many other normal people, right? Like, you're gonna have a normal experience if you choose to be normal. Is a normal experience bad? No. But I can think, or I do think, that we can all agree an extraordinary experience will be better. And extraordinary means different things to different people, right? But I feel the most extraordinary experiences I've had arose with people by sharing time, sharing a conversation, sharing a meal, sharing a psychedelic experience, sharing a joint. Yeah, I think we'll have to do a whole stream just talking about sharing. How sharing can be something that leaves you with more. We'll add it to the topics. We'll strike out today's "You can be God to a little frog. Save those around you." Strike out. Skapow. Done. Did it. And then share. Be a Care Bear. So I can attach this fractal to what I thought in that moment. Skip out. Let me see. Where was I leaving off? Rambler. Sending you love again. Thank you, Loizana, for sending love to him as well. so for going like, Mel, dude, I'm so stoned. I'm not that stoned. I feel more than anything unattached, I guess is the right word. I feel pretty unattached. Carefree, if you will. I'm letting go of some of my stressors that I usually seem to bring up. Yesterday's stream did a lot for me. That card pull, talking about transitions in the way that it did, directly after we were talking about, taking care of ourselves. It really struck a chord with me. It feels true, if you will, that we are, in fact, transitioning. And yesterday's whole stream was about taking care of yourself, right? Oh, goodness, I'm only now realizing that today's stream is the exact polar opposite. How about that? The melting more, right? But everything is true. Everything is true if you look at it through the lens of love. And it is something you have to get good at. It's something that I believe we are actively practicing. Something that you friends not only practice in, but also help give opportunities to experience, right? Thinking of it like, again, like problems we're solving. Technically, the problems we solve in our lives, in our day-to-day lives, is how we experience any given event. At least that's the way that I think about it, right? Problem solving in school or in math is a little bit abstract, but when it comes to your day-to-day experience, if you can solve the problem of what it is you experience and come to the conclusion of love over and over again, in my personal opinion, I believe you are solving the problem correctly, right? It's like, yeah, I had all of these problems and I solved them by being loving. I solved them by speaking lovingly to the people who could help me. I solved it by treating myself lovingly and wanting to be better for the sake of loving myself and others. Loving a little frog. And that doesn't come naturally. It didn't to me. Quite the opposite, in fact. Like, I didn't like frogs. I think it's because they peed on me when I first tried to play with them as a kid. Made me hate them for a part of my life. Ugh, gross. And they would also sometimes give this type of slime that would stick to your fingers. And even if you like have it underwater, you would still have to use your nails to scratch it off of yourself. Right? There was some sort of attachment in my mind to what that experience had to be like in order for me to love that little frog. Today during yoga, it's a point that I was kind of hitting on, this question or this fractal of you are not what you've been, you are who you're trying to be right now, right? From a lens of realism, you're not either of those things technically, but if you're going to have some sort of accuracy, there's going to be a much higher accuracy when you actually try to be something instead of trying to measure you on what you've been. And this, I know, can be met with criticism of like, that's actually wrong, because if people have displayed certain behavior over and over again, they're more likely to redisplay those behaviors. I know. I'm talking about the personal narrative, right? The personal narrative. You shouldn't be judging yourself for things that you've been, proclaiming it to be evidence against the case of you wanting to be better, and then not do the thing, right? Stop yourself from actually improving because you have so much evidence that that is not something that you do. And then we have two poses, like of child's pose, where you have your forehead to the ground, you have your arms stretched out, and you're kind of like hunched down on your shins with your butt over your feet. I'm overcomplicating it. It's so simple when you do it with your body. And the first cycle of that child's pose, I kind of connect with the actual child inside in that pose, right? Like all of us used to be children and we grew up to be these versions of ourselves. And I think of it as like you attaching layers and layers and layers and layers and layers onto that initial childlike consciousness, just awareness of being. And then you convince yourself that you are who you are right now because of all of those layers, and you seeing, right, the version of you that sees all of those layers of self, having seen all of those layers of self. And then after I do that contemplation, we go through like a pose cycle. and then we come back into the child's pose. And then I like to connect to the outside child, right? That you are a child to this world, in such words. And as a child to this world, who you are is influenced by the world you are a child of, right? That we live in a society right now where if we don't have money, we don't get to survive, right? That feels a little bit changing if you have to think about it in the capacity of what it does to the human psyche. We find ourselves in a world where we see people of certain beauty standards, particularly being loved more than others, right? Again, creating this internal narrative that if you don't look a certain way, you are not worthy of love. You are not what you've been. You are what you're choosing to be right now. You can choose to be loved right now. And that feels kind of cliche to say. And yet, the only person that can love you as authentically as you deserve to be loved is yourself. The only person that can brush your own teeth, right? Sure, someone else can brush your teeth, but damn it, you're gonna not be happy about that. Like, at least the way I'm thinking about it, if I have to stand there and someone else is brushing my teeth, he's probably gonna do it wrong, right? Sure, he's gonna brush all of my teeth, but he's not gonna brush it the way I brush my teeth. Right? And just something as simple as that, right? That there are so many acts of self-love that kind of like go unnoticed, that we don't give that kind of attention to or remind ourselves of the significance of what it is we're doing. How every single action is a story. And then like it gets wonky, right? Because there is no responsibility for the narrative of something as simple as brushing your teeth. There can also be no responsibility for the narrative of something as simple as your relationships ceaselessly imploding. This is me talking to myself as well, right? Like, I don't feel my relationship have imploded. I have all my friends that I've made, right? I feel like that is something that I kind of pride myself on. Adam is coming back. I'm gonna get to hang out with Adam again. Like, Adam was one of my biggest heartbreaks. He had to go work on himself for like 2 years, and he didn't talk to me. And I would like send this dude messages. Hey dude, hey dude, hey dude, hey mommy, hey mom, mommy, hey mom, hey mom. Oh goodness, now I'm getting it. I'm actually getting that joke because that's what I did, right? I would reach out just to say a hi, just be like, hey, yo, we're touching you. And now I'll get to hug the dude again. Oh goodness, it seems the plans have changed. They have gotten more insane. He's like, yo, goodness, I'm calm. Right now in this moment, I am not someone who needs to know everything. Yeah. His plan is to come through Saturday night. He should be here. Maybe Saturday around 3 if we're lucky. Then stay Sunday. Then Monday, we leave to Pretoria to go and stay with either Keelan or Johan or Zoe, a friend that I've shared some stories about. And then, or Marden, another friend. And then from Marden's, we're gonna go to this party, which starts like either we're gonna go to this party on Thursday or we're gonna go to this party on Wednesday, he says. Maybe we're gonna go to the party on Wednesday. Because we can go camping before the party starts. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Probably because I was thinking of the opposite. I'm watching my plans, my idea of stability melt away in front of my eyes as I hear his words coming from the voice note. And I'm writing notes. I actually, because he sent me 10 minutes worth of voice notes. So I sat down and I wrote notes as I was listening to this. Oh goodness. And then after the festival, which ends on the 9th, he's like, then maybe we go to Cape Town. A 20-hour drive. And who knows? Maybe we'll camp, he says to me. Maybe we'll camp on the way. Maybe even we'll just drive, he says to me. And we'll like camp wherever we are when it's night. I just want to feel that freedom, he says to me. And the part of me that is a sane human being is losing its mind. It's like I'm watching it lose its mind. And yet, the part of me that's aware of what's happening right now, realizing that this is probably exactly what I need to be doing, right? Absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. Because of the amount of rigidity and structure I've been subjecting myself to. And the streams aren't going to stop. Oh, I'll make sure of that. I've been making sure of that. I've been like running plans. I'm like, you know what? 3:30 comes around, we stop next to the road. We drive into a field somewhere. I drop down a yoga mat in the grass. I give yoga class. Yoga class finish, I roll my yoga mat up. I start the stream. I take you friends with me. We're driving somewhere now. Yeah. I think I'm joking. I hope I'm joking. My human hopes is I'm joking. I'm not joking, dude. This is gonna happen. I'm gonna take the batteries. I'm gonna keep them plugged into the car. The batteries won't leave the car. My devices will get charged in the car. I'll buy like $100 worth of data or something. And we're gonna be uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. We're gonna see how uncomfortable we can get. And we're gonna continue to be loving. Yeah, I shall not falter. This feels like one of those things that I'm already looking forward to, like I'm looking back at it fondly. I don't know if I'm not supposed to do that. I'm just gonna be present and be excited. I love frogs, says Susanna. I see Gobbledygoo is here too. Let me see. I think I missed a few. Lions, lane mushrooms. Pokey. Mononoke is here. Candace Poitier. Hello to you, friend. It's nice to see you as well. Chicken fish texture. Read Celestine Prophecies. Read Celestine Prophecies last week. It was so good. I recommend to anyone feeling the shifts. Hey Google, can you tell me about the Celestine Prophecies? The book is a first-person narrative of a spiritual awakening. The narrator is in a transitional period of his life and begins to notice instances of synchronicity, which is the belief that coincidences have a meaning personal to those who experience them. Dude, feels like you're describing what we've been doing in these streams. I mean, if you want to read a book about it, you can. But I feel the greatest value is in realizing that you are that person having a spiritual awakening where you are going through a transitional period of your life and you begin to notice instances of synchronicity, which we like to believe is coincidences, is not, is that coincidences? Okay, that your coincidences and your synchronicities have personal meaning to you who are experiencing them. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be experiencing them, right? Like, not that much of a stretch. I just wish more people could realize that enlightenment or an awakening, a spiritual awakening, isn't going to change anything. Not really, right? You're still going to be having the same human experience because that's what you're here for. A spiritual awakening is just kind of coming to the conclusion, to the realization that you are spirit living as a human. And you can kind of take it a little bit more casually. It's not so serious. Like the Buddhist perspective is that if you're really trying to grind in a certain perspective, and I'm self-awareing right now, it's like grinding in World of Warcraft. Like you're playing a game character right now, this version of self. And I value upgrading this game character and keeping it strong, keeping my stats high. I value it, right? Because if I'm gonna play this game, I might as well follow the rules. At least the rules that make sense. I'm all for rules. I'm all for rules if they make sense, right? Like I'm saying that, and then I'm watching this part of me being like, you know what? Fuck the rules. You know what rule I'm specifically angry about? The rule of thermodynamics. Come on, thermodynamics. Come on, dude. Energy. Energy. Oh goodness. Why do you have to keep so much of the energy? Body, please. Oh, please. Please stop storing so much energy. But if we didn't have any limits on how much we could eat, we'd probably destroy this planet in like a week, right? Imagine if there was just no penalties to eating food. Don't get fat. Don't feel bad. Just keeps tasting good. Yeah, we would start eating the grass, yo. Maybe not. I'm watching the rules and I'm trying to be like, maybe, well, look, the rules still do make sense. In fact, fine, oh, fine logic, fine compartmentalizing, compartmentalized. Thank you again, Luke. I appreciate your suggestion. Just found you at the perfect time to get your message that I needed. Love you, friend. You are seen. You are. You are, right? You exist. Here we are. We've made it this far. We're literally connecting across the universe conceptually. Like you live in a different universe than me. Think about it. I have to spend thousands of dollars and actually manage to get a freaking American visa, which seems to be impossible. You might as well live on a different planet because I can't get to you right now. I can swim, I guess. That's insane. Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe one day. But at this point, we are living in different dimensions. The same planet, the same unified consciousness. And that's the trip of it, right? That even the aliens, conceptually out there somewhere, are still existing in this exact same now. I just got to add a little flash of a headache thinking about that thought. My brain was like, okay. I caught 11:11 by time yesterday. I thought of Guyana and all of you wonderful friends hanging in this beautiful space. Thank you, Rambler. Thank you, dude. You're doing it too. Out. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. Bobesk. I've been repeating the same specific wish for 11:11s, 12:34s, and 10:27s. Is 27 for you a significant one? And I do believe the wish is close to becoming true. Don't share it with us. See it becoming more and more crystallized. See it as already so. Think of it as seen and how you feel seeing it. Being like, how stoked are you to actually have this thing that you were thinking about? Right? Yes, I'm so stoked. Feel that stokedness. You, why'd you bring out your palm stone? Did you want it to get some warm sun? No, I wanted to stone my palms. Somehow that feels offensive to the palm stone. I'm sorry, palm stone, but you are stoning my palms right now, dude. Gently, heart chakra irradiating. It kind of feels just nice in the hand, I guess. What up, Fab Dance? Nice having you, man. How are you doing, Brother Bear? How's the? I keep asking, like, When I think about you, I'm just imagining about the amount of adventurous spirit experience you're gaining right now as well. And it shall be Uwapiti Skibao, Flabongo, Gas Limpamongo, Fibibiti Shabdabi. Dude, there's a new show out called Unstable, and it is way too in my face. It's like imagine a show was like, hey, oh, think you're special? Who think you're special? I know you. I fucking know you. Look at all of these things that you do. Look at these characters doing them too. No, stop. But I can't look away. And there was this moment where one of the characters literally said skibao, dude. And it was skibapati maybe. One of ours, like the ones we say frequently. And I was like, wait, hey, you stop doing that. Let's go of those attachments, Master Yoda style. Dad, Master Yoda style. Disciplinedly letting go of the things, dude. Minding them and then forcing them away from myself or whatever. Oh, for sure. Yesterday's card was something else. It was really resonant. What was it, Shanansky? I was too busy IRL to hang in the stream lately. It's okay, goo. You're still in the now with us. Yesterday's card was card 32. Graceful transitions. Yeah. Literally. There we go. That one. It had an owl in it as well. We were talking about the owl today. And as like a little snippet of this card, it goes, you are invited to view each transition you experience as another of life's adventures. Allow the owl and hawk on this card to symbolize a knowing that you were guided and protected in your personal evolution. As you consciously move out of darkness into the morning light, let this card be a signpost of graceful transitions. Swam, swam, swam. Right? You cannot gracefully transition if you're holding on to something so attached. It needs to be this way. It needs to be only this way. Otherwise, it's not going to be the way I want it to be. And then you won't get to gracefully transition. You'll be stuck. You'll be losing your mind. So I'm gonna, as our beautiful Dan said, Master Yoda my way right through it. I love frogs. Always have, always will. They are so cute. Hey Google, can you show me the frog from Over the Moon? Oh, come on. This doesn't have to take that long. I want instant gratification. Thank you. This is instantly gratifying enough. I mean, there's one singular photo that they do not want to open. The frog that they depicted on Over the Moon was an absolute vibe. The characters in that movie was also really real. I love them. That's what's up, Luke McMurray. By the way, how's your sister Bonnie? I'm guessing that's an understanding that I don't have. You found me just before 700 and gave a message that hit huge. And it was so heartwarming that a space like this exists. Found myself back today. It's nice having you here again, friend. I hope this is what you needed. I'm sorry if I was spicy about the book. It was just my leaning into really echoing the fact that you are that which you seek. All right? No book is going to be able to give you what you're gonna get. Right? You can write a book about your life and people will buy it. Maybe no one will, but you can still do it. Right? And isn't going to make the act of writing a book any less significant, whether or not it sells well. That is something that you did for yourself. That was Anna saying, I have to go, sending you love, dear friend. So happy to see you here again. I haven't met Sister Bonnie yet, sending her love though. I'm happy to hear you have improved on your love of froggies. Thank you, Susanna. It was just like, I have for a long time in my life been very peculiar and particular about getting my hands dirty. And I loved snakes for that reason. Snakes don't leave marks or, dirt on you. They're very clean and smooth animals. and they like literally shed the outside layer of their skin. Like it's a, I love snakes. I've loved snakes my whole life. Snakes a lot. And they're like, in my mind, clean animals, right? Like I like hairless animals as well. For instance, I love Pippi to death, but if I look on my own clothing right now, I'll probably find some of her hairs, and that irks me. Oh my goodness, it irks me. And I thought frogs were the same. I also thought they were clean. And we're like, yay, this dude doesn't have any hair and stuff. And then he peed and left slime on me. And I was like, oh hell no. How dareth thine? No animal has peed on me when I tried to play with it before. Is there a bug in my hair right now? There was. Uh-huh. Do you really know who you are if you haven't had a frog pee on you? Oh, I'm no longer sure who I am. Now I must find a frog. Luke, you are. Right? And I keep saying that like it's maybe supposed to hit some sort of note. But that really is, to me, all the proof that you need. That you don't have to know who you are. You are. We had a whole stream about that fractal of trying to prove yourself. Whatever that words, means to you. How can you prove yourself more than your existence? Right? What can you do that's going to prove your existence to me more than you existing in this moment? My goodness, give yourself a break. All right, just from a mental perspective of knowing who you are, knowing what you're supposed to do, that you're doing it. And once you embrace the fact of your existence, being a miracle in and of itself, you can choose the new ones. Yeah, you can choose the new ones. Harida. You can be the one that tells yourself the story. But you have to remember that you're the storyteller first. And the one that experiences, Rambler. As Gavi, I have peed upon a frog and a chipmunk. You have peed upon? What does that make me? I am not proud of my knowledge of the variety of living beings that Doctor has peed on. Oh goodness. I've peed on ants. I don't do it anymore. Unless not intentionally. Not intentionally. Oh goodness. I'm thinking about little kid me. You know what it was for me? My transition point with ants? The movie Ant Bully. Like, I was never that bad, but I was like, shit. Ants have feelings? They probably don't, right? Realistically, but I mean, now I just see them as little consciousnesses. Clearly, they want to be alive. And so for me to unalive them is against their will, tiny as it may be. I'm watching my current relationship with ants unfold in front of me. Because there's a bunch of ants usually when I'm doing yoga. And it's like the final pose, you stretch your arms out. And then the ants usually walk on me. And I usually don't have a problem with it until they bite me. Then I'm like, no. And I usually pull them off of myself. And more than often, that kills them. That self-defense. Yeah, they are harming my person. I'm gonna take it. Watching the other side of the fractal that I'm communicating today, right? The fact that you can be God to the frog. You can be God to that little ant as well. It can bite you and you can choose to not kill it. Like usually what happens is like a brushing motion. But more often than not, that brushing motion has me rolling them underneath multiple fingers. And they have like 1 HP. Yeah. I'm tripping out because I've been brain damaged by a Joel meme recently. Some of your friends might know Joel Haver. He's a YouTuber who makes these in his own words, and I laughed when he said it. Asinine skits. He has these absolute brain damaged skits that kind of like put you in a world that makes you feel kind of surreal. It's beautifully made. And he had this skit of a dude dies and goes to heaven, and there's like an angel checking the books, and he's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You didn't make it into heaven, dude. I'm sorry. And he's like, what do you mean? Can I talk to God? Let me just talk to him. Let me just speak to him directly, find out what was happening. And God is a bug on the angel's shoulder. And God is like, what the hell, dude? You killed so many bugs. I'm a bug. All of those bugs. Ooh, this little sticky fell. All of those bugs that, I've been like sending your way, that have been like in your ear and you killing them. That was me trying to tell you, dude, that God's a bug. And you need to love the bugs. Otherwise, you're going to go to hell. And this dude is like, what? I'm sorry. No, God's probably not a bug. I don't think so, at least. I do believe there's a spider god, but I think she's more like an architect, like a connector architect, like a information architect, maybe. Synchronicity architect. I'm tripping myself out just thinking about this shit. I don't know. I'm making this shit up as I go. I'm gonna flush her out though. I have this whole idea of this spider god, right? And this was kind of fueled. Period. I was having a weekend with my friends and sitting around the fire over and over again during that weekend. I would walk through these spider webs, and every single time it would irk me because I don't like walking through spider webs. Not so much the spider webs, but the fact that if there are spider webs, there's probably a spider. And if I walk through its house is on top of me right now. And if I was in my house while someone walked through my house, I'd probably be on the thing that walked through my house. So the spider must be on me. And then I would check my body and make sure the spider isn't, in fact, on me. And I was asking myself why that kept happening, because I was the only one that had happened to. Might have helped that I was walking in front as we were walking through like trees and stuff. That probably was what did it. And I was just sitting, around this fire, kind of asking myself, why? And going through this mentality of, am I supposed to learn something? Right? Is this stressful behavior that I'm exhibiting with something like thin webs touching my skin really something that's serving me? And then my mind took a tangent of thinking of it as entity trying to teach me something, right? That there are these fundamental simulacra. Hey, Google, can you give me the definition of a simulacrum? So your friends can like see the full word. A simulacrum is a representation or imitation of a person or a thing. The word was first recorded in the English language in the late 1600s, it doesn't matter, used to describe a representation, such as a status or a painting, especially of a god. So the way that I think of it is that it's this almost like higher dimensional blueprint, could be a word for it, of something, right? There are a bunch of different spiders. Not all of them look the same. Not all of them have the same body shapes, leg types, fangs, eye placement. But all of them have like kind of similar features to the point where you can be like, yeah, that's a spider, right? Same thing with dogs. Sure, wolves and dogs are a lot different, but we can kind of be like, yeah, canine. Cats, yeah, lions and house cats. But we can see the cat. So I think of it in that way, as this higher dimensional blueprint of things existing. And the version of that that is spiders is very intelligent, absurdly so. Doesn't like to just chill, likes to spin webs. And it spins webs in ways that it connects things. And as I was like sitting, flushing this idea out, thinking about it, it became more and more beautiful. And I don't know why, but for some reason, seeing an entity like that in its grand mindfuckery, to say it in absurd words, makes all other spiders kind of just cute. Unnecessary tangent, but I also believe that that spider god can see through the eyes of all the spiders. So there might be somewhere in this environment a spider having its eyes open, and the spider god can see me. So I totally love the spider god. She's great and stuff. Just so that we're safe. There might be a spider in one of your rooms watching your screen. Oh goodness. I totally love the spider god. Sure, not intentionally. I'm a gardener for a family in town when DDF isn't active. I don't know what those words mean, unfortunately. I'm out in the back for 4 acres, so when nature calls, I pee in the woods. Chipmunk must have been napping. Oh, I'm just imagining you going for a pee and then a chipmunk just going like, what the hell? And like yeeting out of the grass. Oh, shame. Hard no, Doug. That gotta be a hard no. Not fine, flaccid no, she. I was absolutely, I was going to say chipmunks are fast. I don't know how you would ever pull that off, poor little guy. Oh, goodness. I needed a good laugh. Been way too serious lately. Thanks, friends. We love you, Rambler. You want to tell us what's been making you serious, friend? You can unburden yourself if you want to. Laughter is good medicine. Absolutely. I'm happy I'm here today, friend. Love is true. The show go on. I've noticed your consistency and I appreciate it. Love to you, friend. I think of it as showing up for love, right? That I'm gonna live every day. And if I'm gonna live for something every day, I can't see anything more worthy of being lived for than love. And we're doing that, right? Like, this is something that's been bothering me. This feeling like I'm not doing enough, where I'm like, oh goodness, I need to have 5 other things going at the same time to make buy monies. So many monies. Oh goodness, I'll have so much monies. I won't know what to do with it. Bet your ass I'm gonna start giving it away, because what else can you do with your money once you have everything that you need? And then asking myself, what is it that I need, really? And then I'm like, well, what am I doing all of this for? If not for love? Why am I doing anything at all if not for love? And then realizing that we're getting everything that we want. We have it. It's here. We just have to realize, oh yeah, nothing would be experienced at all if not for love, right? Ultimately, the love that you can think of as creator, creating you, the love between your mom and your dad to have made you, the love of the human beings that helped raise you, the love of yourself to continue taking care of yourself so that you can experience this moment. If not for love, this moment would not be. And as soon as we can really kind of come to that realization, I would like to believe it sets us free. But it doesn't feed us, right? And I feel that is the current problem that we're trying to solve, because there's more than enough food and there's clearly not more than enough love, right? If we had enough love in all of our hearts collectively, especially those who have more than enough, how could you stand for something like that? Going to be streaming at 12:30 Central, planting some tomatoes, seed sprouts, and not being on small woodland creatures. That's my only farms. Yeah. Oh goodness, dude. I'm just imagining the type of person that goes like, take my freaking credit card information right now. You know, you see that only farms. That's why it was perfect. It helped me notice how to interact with synchronicity and be the benefit and the message. I'm not much of a reader, but that one hit. But here we are. I'm not discounting your experience, friend. I feel most of the stuff that I've come to, right, like deeply resonated with are things that I've read as well. It's just my responsibility, I believe, to remind you that yes, it's great to read, fantastic, but you are the one that's reading. Hmm? You wouldn't have an experience at all if you weren't actually reading. And you can read things right in front of you right now as well, right? You can watch two people have a conversation and you can see the conversation that's being had underneath that conversation. But don't try to talk about it. uh, because you might be wrong. Or you might seem insane. Or both. What I'm saying is allow yourself to have the fullness of your experience. Realize that this experience is yours to have, right? Seeing a swallow in the corner of my eye as I'm finishing that sentence, being a synchronicity to me. And then taking that personal experience and not trying to trip myself out about it too much, but just reminding myself that we are seen by so many things, right? The spider god included. Some numbers appear over and over again in our life. If you start to notice it, it might be worth paying attention to. This I agree with. I will be on mobile.dad, but I will tune in and vibe with y'all. Thank you, Rambler. I appreciate you, Fred. Thank you, Shan, tuning in as well. 2:47, 11:11. It's time. Love is true. I wish for a group hug with most of you. Like seriously, gobbledygook, it might not be as much of a group hug, but if you just put your arms around yourself, that's kind of nice. Yeah, this is as much as we can do. Love is true. Even if this is as much as we can do, love is true. Do, 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 chi, do, 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 do. Even if this is as much as we can do, oh, love is true. Love is true. I want to see what my neural expression looks like when I say the words love is true. I want to see what I want to see it connect to every single other neuron in my brain, every single one of them. If I say the words love is true, I should basically start flying instantaneously. I have my full potential. Go full Lucy. Go full Lucy. We forgot. Go full Lucy. Dude. Duck that. Oh, it came back. Oh. Interesting rambler. Every single night since I stream longer than I can remember. Since longer than I can remember. I wake up at 2:47 a.m. What does it mean? What does that mean? What do you do? Maybe that's where the real meaning lies. That's what I'm thinking, at least. What do you do in that time when you do wake up? I wish for a group hug. By the way, Duck Dad, Stung Out is totally underrated band. Stung Out. I don't think I've even heard of it. I suppose it's unreasonable to wish we all end up in the same physical space, in the same moment. Gobbledygoo, in a weird way, we are, right? Like the fact that we know of each other's existence as consciousness. We're not directly in the physical space of one another, right? Like I can't actually touch your physical body right now. But we are existing in physical space together. An occurrence that happens very rarely in our universe, and especially very rarely at the same time for different levels of consciousness, different versions of consciousness, to actually connect in this way on the physical plane. Like, it is unlikely for us to be here talking on this stream right now, right? Unlikely in the way where there's technically only 13 of us in this space right now, right? We can think about the friends that were here in the past, the friends that will be here in the future watching back. And that can go into like absurd numbers. Like, technically, then we can have more people tuning to this stream than have existed on the planet right now. But let's not get into that fractal. We can think about just the fact that we get to exist in physical space together right now. Like we do. Gobbledygoo. And it's only going to be more going on from now. We have come here in a really cool time, I believe. In one of the coolest times that we could have. If you could choose an age to be born into, and you wouldn't know how rich you would be, what color you would be, what class you would be, in what country you would be born, this would be the age to choose, right? At least from what we know about our past. Sure, there might be better times in the future, but that is what we are building right now. It is actively happening. And already, there's more love happening than there is hate. Sure, hate, trauma, outrage, school shootings, these things are, in the best terminology I can think of right now, viscerally powerful, right? Where hearing something like that creates an inbuilt experience of disgust, of aversion, of confusion, of questions, like this explosion of feeling, right? And those feelings might not be pleasant, but they are powerful. And in society where we feel less than ever, where we feel kind of encouraged not to feel our feelings, feeling something is better than feeling nothing. And we come back to feel something. Optimism isn't popular right now, right? That is something that someone told me that I was like, is that true? Optimism is not popular right now. And yet, if you look at the evidence, if you look at how far we've come, it is clear that things are getting better. And because you are here, they will continue to, yeah, because you are God. That's why you're here. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. No tickling. I suppose it's unreasonable. Nah, a rambler. I wish I could have gave them a chance back in the day. They have some killer tracks, excellent guitar work. Pass your fractal, Gabi. We will hug someday. I will not be on your scout's honor. Gab, the universe used to be a singularity. That wasn't enough closeness for you. You see, Sam knows what I'm saying. Exactly. Right. And within that singularity becoming the everything, in that everything going on for billions of years, in those billions of years evolving to become persons, becoming persons together, having the wherewithal to use our technology so we can reach one another, so that we can form this understanding, this technically relationship that we have transdimensionally, living in different worlds. You want more? You want more? Yeah, me too. Yeah, I also want more. Oh goodness, God, the universe used to be again. And Shan got a tickle too. I am who I am. Yes, I am who I am. I am that I am. I am. What follows I am follows you, right? Use those words carefully. You manifest. Gab, We will hug someday again. Love, thank you. Rambler, hell yeah. Next Google search, how to befriend my ghost. That means you're haunted. Nice. I was like, yeah, I would 100% do that. Right? Imagine the perspective a ghost would be able to give you. What perspective would it be able to give you? I'm trying to imagine it now. Probably insight about how people are when they're not observed. That's probably the thing I'd be the most interested in. Is that Snoopy? Yeah, I guess it is. This is because I know I do some weird shit sometimes, right? And weird shit to me is like getting completely infatuated with a novel bug that I haven't seen before. And then in the middle of doing something, like I'm eating a sandwich or something, I squat down, eating a sandwich, looking at a bug. And then I have this flash of seeing myself doing this, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? What the hell's happening right now? It's a good thing I'm not watched as I'm watching myself do it. Oh, yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what it's like to be friend your ghost, to be okay with being watched. What am I saying? I don't know. I'm diving into your fractal. You can just say you need your space and you don't want a group hug, Shanshi. Now thinking about little kid peeing on stuff. Narrator, Duck Dad was 36 years old. Oh goodness. I mean, to the universe, we are all children forever, right? Even if you live to 1,000 years, even if you live to 10,000, a million, a billion. I mean, a billion, you're starting to look like a toddler, maybe, right? They're like, oh, look at this cute little toddler, a billion years old being. So yeah, all of us are kids forever and ever. Yes, Joel Haver is an amazing YouTuber, makes such unique sketches, beautiful. His awkward surrealism gets me every time. It's beautiful. Of course, Naren, you being a filmmaker, you know his stuff as well. He's an inspiration, dude. Nothing is technically stopping me other than myself. I know this. I really want to get into filmmaking, dude, but I I also don't because I know how much work it is. I take my hat off for you friends. Multiple shots, multiple different angles of shots, multiple different composures of frame, lighting, audio, actually shooting something, actually knowing what it is you're trying to shoot, actually trying to construct a decent story that someone would want to pay attention to. And that's the easy part. Then you have to sit down and slap that shiznit together with an editing software. It's a lot of work. It is. There's this devil on my shoulder that is AI. It's being like, bruh, you wait 3 years and you'll have a freaking AI stick on wheels. Has a little gyro ball, stick on wheels that follows you around and gets a bunch of shots for you and then composes the stuff for you. Maybe not 3 years, maybe 3 years. Like, I feel like this is something that we don't actually really fathom these days. It's like we've seen absurd amounts of progress, right? They're like, yeah, sure. Like we came as human beings into this world without cell phones existing. Most of us probably without like, okay, cell phones probably existed, but not smartphones existing. And during our lifetimes, we've watched these things go from basically toys to full-fledged career creators, in fact. Like technically this whole stream has been built just with this one cell phone. Like all of my YouTube streams have been done on that cell phone. Even initially when we were just filming them and then editing them, and that was a nightmare as well. I'm tripping out about the past. Right? These devices have become powerful. And unfortunately, our cell phones have kind of plateaued with their capabilities, right? Like a new, better cell phone isn't going to give you that much more stuff, right? Much more innovation, technology when it comes to the functionality of it. But technology does not slow down, right? Our rate of progress is growing exponentially. So the amount of progress that we've seen, for example, in our lifetimes with our devices, will probably be seen in the next 5 years again. And then that amount of progress in the next 2 years after that. And then that amount of progress in the next year after that. And then, you see what I mean? And like, we're all kind of oblivious to the fact that we are in the knee of the curve right now. And our stories matter. The stories we choose to tell right now is going to be the things we get to experience in that curve, in that going exponential technology. And I'm hopeful. I believe, because again, evidence suggests that we use our technology more for good than for evil. Sure, there are cases of us using our technology for evil, but also we survived the Cold War, right? We survived a mistake and a person deciding not to turn the keys and nuking the world. Like, I have to believe that's like an angel. Like an angel was like ripping him on the shoulders, being like, "Bro, please, reconsider." That has to be a mistake. Surely nobody in their right mind would launch nuclear weapons against each other. Surely. And listen to that instinct. And, by extension, we are probably alive. One decision one person made. Don't ever think that your decisions don't matter. These things are exponential. Exponential. We cannot but we can choose to embrace it. God is probably like an octopus, something to do with 8 legs. Controlling 8 blankets being woven by 3 spiders each. I love that, Susanna. I really like that. The Boogeyman from Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't think I've seen that one. I was working with a guy from South Africa, and I thought of you often while hanging with him. He was frustrated here and was saying he wants to go back to his country. I learned much from him. We have a beautiful country, friend. We have our problems, like all countries do. We have a lot of inequality. Diverse, understanding, patient, caring, and as a result of our poor economic trust, we have resorted to trusting each other more, relying on each other more. Like, I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing, but most of the police in South Africa, the good police, is private police, right? And that generates more fractals for inequality. But our country is improving. Again, thanks to technology, right? We are at the precipice for humanity. Solar, wind, geothermal. There are so many forms of batteries now. Oh goodness, there's many. There's so many forms of energy storage that are actively being developed right now. The next 10 years are going to be insane, probably. Like, we're going to see some funky stuff, but it's going to be fun. Oh goodness, it's going to be so exciting. And all we have to do is show up for love every day. Be like, "Hello, new day. Give me love." And then you're gonna be like, walk into the freaking room, get yourself a coffee. Love. I love this. This is freaking great. See a person, be like, "Hey, have a great day." I'm just imagining this super hype man society, and I'm seeing a version of reality where there's like a whole subfractal of people that actually absolutely hate that. Be like, oh, this is the fucking worst. Everybody is so nice always. This fucking sucks. I can sympathize. I'm like, yeah, this does actually suck. How do we know what nice is if everybody's nice? Then we have that one guy who's like, man, I don't know if those shoes go with that shirt. And Yuri's like, did you just? People fainted. I mean, even though that makes us sound so weak as humanity, maybe we deserve that. Maybe like we deserve a little bit of a break from the murdering and stabbing one another and resource hogging and scarcity mindsetting. You know, maybe like for just a while. I know it won't last. Like, unfortunately, it never does. Things always change, and the children born from the reality that serves the parents might not serve the children because they're different people and they want different things. And that always continues the churn of reality. So all we need to do now is kind of establish the fundamentals of what we believe. And I believe it is happening on a global level. We are establishing that we can no longer tolerate certain things. Like, weirdly enough, even big companies, I believe Samsung is one of them. They have, I got a notification on my freaking devices this morning. They're like, earn money for charity while you're charging. I'm like, what does this read like? We're going to use your cell phone to mine crypto for charity. I don't know if that's what they're doing, but that's the way I read it for a second. But let me read. They have these apparent global goals, and apparently they've been serving me ads without my knowing. And you can donate the money that they give you for the ads they serve you to charity. So I did that this morning. It's like 0.9 Rand, which is equivalent of like maybe less than 10 cents of a dollar. So this is by no means like, oh, I donated. But these are the things that you can donate for. Let me. So these are the ones. It has like a little list. There's 17 of them, right? And the point I'm trying to make is where we are in society right now. Some of the biggest brands, like every single one of these devices, except for the microphones, is the brand of this company that has these fundamental goals. Or at least that's what they say their fundamental goals are. No poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth. That one I'm like, about, I agree, but yeah, let's continue. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure, reduced inequities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, cleaning oceans, life on land, keeping, nature reserves, peace and justice and strong institutions, partnerships for the goals, right? On some level, no matter where we are generationally, if we are human beings that consider ourselves gods of our reality, these are the things that we have to kind of come to the conclusions of, right? Like, these things are what we are capable of. And we are capable of doing it for everybody. And if everybody has access to these fundamental things, there's no way for us to fail as a society, right? Like, even if we choose to live differently, we will have, at least in some capacity, solved the suffering part of reality, right? Like, we'll suffer differently. Oh, we'll suffer because suffering is wanting for things to be differently. So even if you're having the time of your life, right, the world is safe. Just imagine that. You can say that to your kids. It's like, yeah, go out there, right? The walls don't even hurt you. I know this is absurdism, but with me, right? The world is safe. You, as a fundamental part of reality, have leisure activities as things humans do, and you can go there and meet people there. You know, there's parties with soft floors that you can go dancing in, and then you can get in a pod and it takes you back home, and you get to be comfortable, you know, safe and warm. And you're like, this fucking sucks. So where's all of the struggle? My ancestors used to have to hunt for their food, used to sleep outside. I don't get to be a real human. Oh, suffer. Oh, suffer. Oh, suffer. Keep suffering. Oh. And that's gonna happen to us. And then that version of ourselves is gonna be like, yeah, no, we have it all wrong. All of this not suffering, all of this having, you know, the opportunity to live, to be creative, to spend time in community, to spend time with our family. That's not actually how it used to be, dude. It used to be like trying to survive every day and fighting one another. Literally survival of the fittest. Only those who were strong got to live. So since there's a few of us that have been the ultra rich and have been gene edited and bio enhanced for the last 50 years, we're gonna like slay and destroy this world and build a new one on top of it. What's happening right now? Not if I help it. Starts fighting back in my own mind. Oh goodness. Duck that. If you are interested, look into numerology and reoccurring numbers. Some people call them angel numbers. I take those things with a grain, but it's interesting. I allow myself to read them, but not obsess about them, right? If you go and look up what does number mean, and it gives you a right? And it's something that you read and you feel a certain way about it. Leave it at that. That's the best advice I can give with the whole numerology trend. Is that there's probably going to be an initial arising from the internet, right? And as human consciousness applying synchronicity, patterns, understanding, right? My microphones look like they're dying, just as a heads up. Let me know if my stuff is dead. They have a certain perspective, and you could share that perspective. So when you search for a number and it gives you an answer, and it makes you feel a certain way, even if that way it makes you feel is not the correct way, because that's the joke about numerology, is if you don't like the first answer that numerology gives you for a number, you can go and find another, right? So I feel you can go and look for it, but I see it as a reminder in my life more than anything these days, where if I see that number, for instance, 47 for me, since Shannon was the one that kind of like reminded me, or that's the way I see it, right? Like all of us know everything. We just forget because we chose to be ourselves as this version of self. And then we can collectively, consciously evolve by exposing ourselves to different versions of mind. Every single perspective you expose yourself to allows you to become more infinite, right? Because every single perspective is infinite. And if you can allow yourself to experience another's perspective, your infinity grows. So the 47 reminds me of her. 34 reminds me of Jovan. 11, Toasty, and Aiden. Now Gob is going to become attached to 27. Congratulations. And probably 1234. Yeah. Right? So for me, it's just an opportunity to think about you, friends, and send you love in my day-to-day. So attach the number you see synchronously and take it as an opportunity to think loving thoughts for even a moment. Could be a good interruption from the other stuff you're going through. I feel our lives are their own personal timeline, and all the other lines are balanced to give you the exact experience you need. Synchronicities. I agree, dude. No, the spider gets the information of reality from the mushrooms they report. I mean, mycelium is kind of like spider webs of the underground, right? Not at all melt, like not even remotely. One of them self-duplicate and the other one spins from its ass. I'm like, please, It's kind of like spider webs, dude. Have you seen what like mycelium up ground looks like? It looks like it got all webbed up. Fine. Network communicating all the important details. Yeah, exactly. The mushrooms knows, the mycelium knows. My eyes itching. I'm not wondering, but other opinions. Love you. I'm not bothered by others' opinions. Love you. That's good, friend. Keep yourself true to yourself. Full Lucy is the way. Can I be blue? Gabi USA camping trip must happen. Optimism is gaining momentum. Gang, gang. Yeah, we're gonna love the doomers into loving themselves. I am blue. If you were green, I would die. Yes. If you do a place like Mark Twain National Forest in Missouri, many of us could be there in no more than 6 hours drive. Check it, Gabi. It's on my dream hiking list. There we go. Look at actually doing the good research. It's a few hours. Herman M.O. would be my suggestion as a backup. Absolutely beautiful. You friends have access to insanely beautiful places. Google Maps says 13 hours. Yeah, most of us is probably, a very liberal word to use if you're talking about any singular place in America. Shan, maybe a cheap Southwestern flight into Louisiana. Yeah, Shannon hasn't flown. Yeah, maybe that would be an opportunity. I always pick people up at the airport on the way. Sam, I have to check Herman Mo out. I've never seen it. There is also the largest inland peninsula in the USA, in Kadzit, Kentucky. I feel the USA is basically, in my mind, a bunch of smaller countries disguised as a larger country. That's the way that the USA, the more I think about it and the more I see of it, the way it makes sense to me. Because if you look at like frames of like Sedona to, you know, New York to Texas to some of the, beautiful parks, it's like in Wyoming. Like it feels like different worlds every single time. Maybe it's better that way. You actually get to travel without struggling so much. I'm starting to think about the Texas folks. I can imagine I would be interested. I've never flown before. Yeah. Shed really wow. Fear or never had the chance. Both. Good morning, Baltimore. Seda! It's nice seeing you, friend. Sending you so much love. Shan, I don't love flying, but it's not as scary as it looks. My grandma died at 88. Never went on a flight. She took the bus from Florida to Vegas. I was like, damn, woman, that's a week. A week, a week of your life because you're scared you'll lose it, right? You lost a week of your life because you were scared you'll lose your life. Even to the day that you die. I feel like there is like a little creature being like, what do you think of that fractal, dude? I'm not gonna think about it right now, please. I'm terrified of flying, but I would get over it. You will. It's just a matter of time, Shan. Just a matter of time. My first missing trip I went on was in New Mexico. Massive mission trip I went on. I actually loved long road trips. I mean, if you're there with people that you can actually conversate with, your message also came through at 5:47, by the way. Shan, I love a good road trip. Unfortunately, time these days is premium. Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna take you friends on a road trip with me. So it might not be your physical body road tripping, but at least your consciousness can. All right. And I feel that is our current fractal. Oh goodness, my consciousness goes on trips that my body couldn't even imagine. How about that for a one-liner from the stream? The love is coming, Gojira. I like that. Yeah. I'm all right, Sayna. Been feeling a little not great, but it's getting better. I'm happy that you're feeling a little bit better. I'm all right, Sayna. Thank you again for like sharing. Okay. I saw a woman holding a sword. The sword had a red blade, kind of serrated, kind of thick, thick blade, almost like a gem coming out. And then it went down over the arm, over her face, and she had like a blindfold on and a robe. Maybe it's you pushing through this discomfort of your gem sword, flower sword, maybe. How about that? Maybe the the red is basically like a spike for the flower that will bloom from it. Yeah, it makes sense. Flying can be so weirdly cheap given the right opportunities, especially if you check out the deals, right? Like I've seen crazy deals if you actually watch for them, especially from you. I've gone to Florida and back under 80 bucks multiple times, like water fast for a week. And you saved up enough for a vacation. Yes. I love that so much. That feels so big brain to me. Our bodies, our DNA has been made to be able to fast and to move our bodies. Like exercise is an intervention. Please. Oh, fasting doesn't have to be an intervention. Fasting is just good for you. Consult your doctor. Drink your micronutrients, your salts. Take some multivitamins. Again, consult your doctor. And then consider fasting. Do consider fasting, please. Jovan, totally. Or go watch a bunch of YouTube videos. Maybe that's good work as well. Mexico, Jovan, totally. Southwest. I bet it booked early enough. You can get it for under 100 bucks. That's so crazy, Joe. I wonder how my ears would do flying. Oh, goodness. They're so sensitive. Mine as well. But I feel it is something you get used to. Right? It's like very much, and I think they call it that, an acclimatization that happens to you. It's a crazy. Giant and Spirit 2. I just gotta get used to packing lightly. They catch you on the luggage and the upgrades. Oh, yes. Like weighing our scales before we go to the airport is like a tried and tested fractal. Like that's just something we do in our. Oh, no. My microphones. Yeeted. I don't know for how long it's been dead, but hopefully not too long. Can you hear me again? Woof de woof woof. It really is, Luke. I would love to go again someday. You will. Anything you can imagine? And did you show up for? Can be done. I'm imagining the dogs not barking anymore. And the silence that washes over this entire space. The peace that comes over my heart when it happens. That's all there, isn't it? Nice. You being sensitive to your senses, you might need to prep for it. There is a possibility for headaches. This is true. This is true. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, friends. Gotta roll. Love you. Rambler. We'll see you soon, friend. Soft foam earplugs and salty snacks are what I'd recommend. Also helps. Thank you, Fred, so much for the wisdom. Shan, if it's something you want to do, I'll get you in contact with my wife. She has had many ear surgeries and can't submerge her head in water due to pressure. She flies. For me, flying is double jack and coke for up to down. I take edibles. I don't know if that's wise because, like, for some people, cannabis could potentially allow them to become hyper focused on things, and that includes your anxieties. So you could become hyper focused on your anxieties while you're flying. I fortunately notice myself focusing on anxieties, and then I'm like, no, I'd rather do something else. And I usually take it to the extreme to stop myself, where I'm like flying, and then we go to like a little turbulence, and then it's over, and then your mind still is in the fractal of, oh, this is a dangerous experience, and then I'm like, yeah, this is what it would look like if the engines explode and we crash and burn. All right, didn't happen. Focus on something else. Focus on something else now. You got to see it. You got to see the finality, right? Like that's the worst that could happen. It's done. Continue with your day. I like to prep by taking edibles, Jovan, as well, of course. Nice. Uh, you being sensitive. I love it. Leisure flies, double jacket coke. Sam coming with the better advice again. Sam knows about pressure change, headaches, but thanks to the living in the Midwest, of course. I'm good, Shanna, but I've been super busy at work since I transferred my job to San Diego. I'm glad to be home, but I miss my coworkers in Columbus. Damn, I can't stand my boss. She is so mean and she gives me pissed off vibes. I feel so uncomfortable around her. I try to break the ice, but she's ice cold. I'm ready to quit. She probably does that as a defense mechanism, right? I mean, I don't know her, of course, but I can't imagine that that is something she does because she has a particular dislike towards you. And this feels like a weird fractal, and I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. I'll maybe give him credit. There's this author called Neville Goddard. He talks about living into the assumed reality, all right? That maybe, and this is just me paraphrasing, right? I'm not saying this is the way it is, but maybe if you could shift your perspective of your boss, your assumption of her, as someone who loves talking to you, right? When she sees you coming into the office, her face lights up. Like she's like, sick, my person is here again, right? And you keep assuming, literally living like that is how it is. You expect that to happen. See if things change, right? And then hit me up. Like maybe like do this for a week. Assume every day. Assume how your boss loves you. Like she loves you. She loves you so much. And assume into that. And love her as well, right? Even if she gives you like the coldest looks, greet her with a smile. Be like, hey, hey, you person. You might know her name. Maybe she likes having her name said. And you don't have to make small talk. Just say hi. Just say hi and continue. People like that even more, I feel. Right? Sometimes more than a hi is too much for some people. Maybe a hi is not enough. But if she wants more than a hi, then she'll start talking to you. If she wants to be the one in power, give her the power and just say hi and then continue. Don't don't assume anything other than her liking you. Try it, see if it works. Well, Duck, if your wife has ear troubles and she flies, it's okay. Maybe I would be okay too. That's part of the reason I haven't felt good the last couple of days. The storm rolling in and the pressure change that comes with it. It is report worthy harassment, Sana. Is there any reason for you to anonymously submit the report to the DOL? Is there a bus to chuck the unpleasant lady under? Oh goodness. I like the fractals, the difference the difference in perspective. She's probably just having a rough time herself, right? Being a boss lady probably comes with a lot of scrutiny. And if you're not the pissed off, I need to get shit done person, people might not take you seriously. I mean, even for men, right? And I can imagine it's even more difficult for women sometimes. Not stereotyping, trying to sympathize. Maybe I'm transgressing. Please don't stone me to death. Oh, please. I'm trying to justice all of the socials. Well, Doug, if your wife is your report worthy, have you tried Benadryl, Shan? I've gotta mainline the stuff myself from well before now to June, and it seems to help somehow. America really is a weird place. So much environmental and community diversity, very much so. A melting pot, of course. I'm sorry to hear, Sena. Are you new coworker school at least? I do hope so. The way you describe the USA is exactly how I do. People call me people call me un-American, of course, and people call me un-American. It's kind of I don't take any over-the-counter stuff. Sam Hamilton hears. Mm. Is Benadryl something you have to get a prescription for? I didn't even know that. I don't think we have the same drugs in South Africa. I feel like your drugs are like all name brand, and you only get to sell them in American pharmacies or something. We have equivalents, with the same drugs in them, but not the same names. Do 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 do. HR is not your friend. They are there to protect the company. This is true. This is very true. Lol, thanks, Sam. There's a bus. All right, yeah. I'm trying to be positive and see if this continues. I will report to HR. First, try the assumption. Try for 1 week, right? If you want to go to the extreme of like reporting people to HR and stuff, at least, at least try the living into the assumed reality that she loves you and greeting her with that assumption, right? How do you greet people that you can assume loves you? How do you greet them, right? If you know for a fact you have assumed that a person loves you because that's the evidence that you've gathered, you greet them in a certain way, right? And if you greet people in that way, it's kind of like I don't know why, but it's like their brain knows. Oh yeah, this person assumes that I'm gonna love them, and they're talking to me like that assumption is true. So either I have to love them or be the thing that is out of line with this frequency. It's I don't know. It's power that you have to shape your reality, and it can be used for evil. Please don't. Use it for love. Use it for actually making sure this world is a better place. Because you can. You're the one that's gonna help us save this place, right? I trust your friends. I know it's hard, but remember, managers, coldness is their own problem. Do your best to smile back and vent after. Don't let this person ruin the new journey for your career. Agreed. I like my new coworkers. I'm a happy camper, but my boss isn't around. Yeah. I wish I knew the full nuance, and I couldn't, unfortunately, because that's not how it works. But I would like to encourage love. Love before action. And if love doesn't work, sometimes action has to follow. But try, right? At least we can try. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Well, Shan, it is OTCs aren't an option. The other thing I know to do is for those scalp ice. Though for those is scalp ice and enough cannabis to bury a pharaoh. Scalp ice. Hey Google, what is scalp ice? Hmm. Scalper and scalp ice. Nah. Is it ice for your scalp? Isn't that just ice? Or does the scalp ice have to be not so cold? Should I stop this line of questioning? I'm gonna try. But I'm not gonna stop from myself from being myself no matter who likes it. Everybody will like it. I love turbulence. It's like a roller coaster. Same. Turbulence is one of the most beautiful things to me, in fact. That Jupiter painting is all turbulence. When I stir broth, the turbulence. When I make food, and there's a lot of liquid in the turbulence. Like, turbulence is everywhere. Every single time you breathe out, there is turbulence being induced. Skull and through my hair really helps too. Peppermint and lavender at the base of my skull. Yeah, do you like rub it in your fingers and then put it, or do you have like an oil? Sena, if it gets to be said directly, excuse me, person. I feel there is some tension between us, and I really would like working here with you and all of this. The stream is working again. I think we're gonna pull a card. Goosebumps from our power to shape reality. Luke, thank you, friend. Feeling the amount of synchronicity that you're experiencing. It brings me so much joy to my heart, dude. Right? Yeah, literally experiencing turbulence in the stream right now. And one of the core things that I write down every day is that I want to feel like I made a difference. That we can make a difference in someone's life, in something's life, even if it's a little frog, right? Even if it's something as small as a little frog, you can absolutely make a difference. And you did, Luke. Thank you, friend. Thank you for allowing me to make one as well. It reminds me of why it is we do this. It gives me even more love to continue to. Card time stuff is a rabbit hole, and I have, yeah, it takes you deep. Different opinion. I really like the idea, Mel. Kill them with kindness. Kill them with kindness, dude. It works for me. Not always, though, right? I've tried this as well. I stopped. I stopped trying it because I stopped caring. And that was the real crux. I resigned myself to loving a certain group of people. And this was my coworkers when I was teaching in China. Because their pastimes, to me, were unproductive. Right? Unfortunately, drinking and talking about other people's sex life wasn't exactly my jam. And yeah, I wasn't gonna have any of it. So I stopped talking to them. I feel I feel childish. I was. I was. But I did get to, talk to Amber. She was one of my coworkers. And I could live into the assumed reality that she loves me, right? We were friends. And I knew we were friends. I was like, yeah, we get along, right? We look each other in the eye. We smile, we talk about creative things. We don't fix it, I guess. Yellow. You see yellow? I'm afraid of flying too. Not at the airport. Not in the air part. Just the fractal of being trapped in a capsule of a bunch of unpredictable, angry, pushy people. I feel people are pretty calm on airplanes. I feel everybody knows that what's about to go down is absurd. Right? We're gonna get in a tube, and then we're gonna launch ourselves into the freaking air, and then we're gonna be in the air together, all of us together. And if shit doesn't blow up, we're gonna get to land on the earth again. And then we're gonna get off of this tube we just put ourselves in. And everybody is like conscious that this is what's happening. And everybody really wants to get off of the tube again. So the pushy, angry people part kind of resolves itself in my mind for that fractal. If there's snakes on the plane, then it's a whole other story. But usually there aren't. At least in my few experiences flying, there weren't that many snakes on the plane, in fact. I must go to prepare today. Love you. It's been a long stream. Let's see what card we're gonna pull. This one. This one? This one? This one. Ooh. What did you say? Yellow? I think it's more orange. But I feel it's like so gross. So gross. This is the card we pulled today. Even more light on it. I'm not even remotely surprised that this is the card we pulled today. Spirit Kin. Right? Oh, goodness. The fractal that we shared today was a little bit of a in your face one. And that can be experience inducing. Right? Certain people might have certain experiences. Being called God doesn't sit right with many people. it it can be a little bit no, no, it's impossible. If I was God, why don't I always get whatever I want? Because as God, you chose not to. But you also chose to forget that. So you get to have this experience, right? If you could do whatever you wanted, you would be doing what you're doing right now. Freaking Alan Watts shooting in my brain. And the man sleeps. And he experiences 80 years of life in his dreams. And he finds himself needing novelty. And before he knows, he wakes up dreaming about living his own life. Skip out. Right? That's what we are right now, friends. We're living the dream. Courage and transformation. Are we talking about transitions? How much transformation is there in transitions? Man, I can't even see properly right now. The shaman dances and drums around a fire and has called in the energy of his spirit kin. This is my little fire, my techno fire. Look at it, it's creating light. I don't even have the lights so I can put it against my face. I'm sorry. Mountain lion, also called pumas or tigers, speaks of strength, courage, and transformation. Golden spirals kindle this fiery energy. We here call upon this magnificent spiritkin to demonstrate the gift of courage. Courage enters your life in many different ways. It is fearlessly standing up for what you believe to be true. Yow! Skapow! Scow! Love is true. Courage is being confident in your discernment and your ability to speak from your heart. It is trusting that the universe is on your side, guiding and protecting you. Courage is the strength that comes from within. Courage is the strength that comes from within you. Inside here, the part of you that's experiencing this right now. It is being who you truly are, without fear or judgment of yourself or others. It is speaking out when you believe strongly for or against something. It is the power to transform fear into love and to bravely follow your own vision path. Courage is transformational. Transformation is courageous. Trust your ability to call in the transformation that your vision requires. Find the courage within yourself to express your gifts and have confidence in knowing that you can make a real difference in the world. Oh my freaking goodness. That is too real. Wasn't that like literally the point we were stressing as we were reading the card or just before we were reading the card? You can make a real difference in the world. And I did pull it upside down, technically. This feels too personal, or it feels like assuming. It's assuming, and I don't want these assumptions. So, with that in mind, you may be feeling cowardly. However, more likely, it is a lack of self confidence that finds you concerned that you are unworthy. Release your anxiety and courageously step into your personal transformation. Whew. Every single one of us get to be the God of our worlds. You get to be the God that says there is no separation. This card, yeah, I'm tripping. That card was like taking a hit of DMT just now. Holy shiznit. Bye, guys. For the head, I'm heading to work. Wish me luck and sending me positive vibes. Living to the assumptions, right? Life's good. My job is great. My boss loves me. Freaking loves me. Luck, positive vibes to you. Love to you. The dusk sounds around you melty. Always makes me so happy. There's no bug noises here yet, and I miss them. I'm happy to send those little music of natures, right? So many words over to you. The fact that we have like the setting sun behind us right now as well. That red energy, that firekin energy. I guess I'd go put on some valor now. Get that confidence. I'm gonna put on some valor as well. I feel like the bugs are extra loud in Africa though. They're like, ah, it's dry out here. All of the honeys are far away. I need to scream, Sapakala. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't heard bugs from other places. All of the bugs I've ever heard lived in Africa. I mean, is that true? There weren't many bugs in China, actually, to be completely honest. Did I see any bugs? Mosquitoes. The mosquitoes still managed somehow. Asshole. But nothing else. Maybe some flies as well. And sort of like outside. Never inside though. I had screens over my windows. The loudest we have here is like cicadas. We have some cicadas as well. Those can be pretty loud. God, India had so many bugs. It was terrible. Yeah, those countries, that have that, what do you call it? Like jungle type of environments have insane amounts of bugs. Has the right conditions. My battery percentage on here is 47. On here is 31. It's gonna hit 2 soon. It's 47, 48, 49 on my side. It's gonna be freaking triple two in like 2 seconds. Thank you, friends, for joining me, for spending this time that in a weird way you as God created this experience, right? Because if there wasn't the God consciousness, your awareness, paying attention to this moment wouldn't be. And I don't take that for granted. Deeply, thank you, friends. And look forward to spending some more time with you again soon.